when I pump gas, because there's a lot of scabby people that probably like handle their wiener and don't wash their hands and then pump gas. But then also when I go to the bathroom at a gas station, I don't feel that washing my hands washes my hands.
Oh, interesting.
Because so many of them are single doors that you have to lock.
Yeah.
So you go in and you lock it with someone's poopy butthole hand. And even if they washed their hands after they peed and pooped, which is already a stretch with the general public.
You still have the pre-poopy hands.
Yeah. You still have to touch that to exit. Now, if you're just pushing it out, then I don't think about it. But even sometimes the sinks are gross in some gas stations. So even just turning the sink on and off, and even if I mash it down with my elbow, then I have a contaminated elbow. Good morning and welcome back, Turkey Tots.
Happy Tuesday, Turkey Tots.
Bing. A shout out to Kelly again. Thanks for the mugs.
I almost choked on the coffee.
This conversation for today started because Kayla said some weird cryptic message to me about remind me to tell you something about cans and putting them away or something. And then we decided to build it out. So basically what we are reviewing today are, does anybody else do this things? Germ edition. And I actually came up with a host, surprisingly, of questions for you and for the audience to see if anybody else does this. I'm excited to see how much we differ because I just have a feeling that I willy-nilly a lot more stuff than you're willing to do.
It's funny though, because sometimes there was a couple scenarios that I was thinking, wow, I don't do that. Or my mom actually just told me something like, hey, you should wash so-and-so before using it. I can get their little teaser. But I was thinking, oh gosh, I've never done that. Why have I never done that? And then I freaked out, and then now I always do it. So it's one of those things where sometimes I feel like if you don't think about it, it's okay, like ignorance is bliss style. And then once you know, I don't know, once I know something, I can't not do it. A lot of these relate to in the kitchen and food, but there's a few one-offs, but I'll be curious. I'm excited to see where we're at because I do feel like we'll differ a little bit, and I think that's funny.
I can't wait. Do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, okay. Well, I'll kick it off with how this all started because I'm a Celsius fan, as you guys have seen me drinking on the podcast. It's my favorite energy drink, even though I know there's shit in it, so don't come at me for that. We've all got our things. But the act of actually going to, say, specifically a gas station, you got all the cans laid out, the mouthpieces where you put your mouth to drink, ew, that's probably mouth noises, it's just out for the world to be looking and touching and licking and sticking, like especially what I was thinking is when they pack these into the shipping containers and then when they unpack them and load them back into the gas station windows or glasses, how many dirty fingers has touched the exact part that I'm about to be putting my mouth on? And then I didn't even get to the point where at the gas station they sell those little Gatorade nipple bottles with the mouthpieces. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
First of all, they taste way better. I don't know what it is. It's the, I swear to God, Kenny and I have a theory that the open mouth hole doesn't taste the same as the nipple bottle, and I'm not sure why.
Maybe it's similar to decanting wine. The way that the air passes through or something.
Probably. So I love them. And we went on a spree of like a week of just buying these Gatorade bottles with the nipple head. I don't know what else you call it.
I don't either.
And then I was like, literally at the end of the week, I was thinking, wait, my whole mouth. It's not even just like, my whole mouth is over this thing that so many people have touched. And then I haven't bought them since. And it freaked me out.
That's so funny. Wait, so what's your solution now to the Celsius?
I just don't think about it. I should just like wipe it down real quick, but I'm just like, fuck it, open it, once I take one sip, I get over it. But in my head, I'm like, this is probably gross.
I think I had heard, and it might be an old wives' tale, but I think I had heard that there was something about putting a lime in beer or rubbing a lime around the edge of a beer glass that sanitized it.
Mm-hmm.
The acidity or something. I don't know. It's not the same. I've never considered this. It's not a bad point, especially when things have been sitting there and they're all musty, dusty.
Right. Sometimes I'll pick it up and there's literally dust around it.
Yeah.
And then I wipe it off.
Yeah, it is kind of weird. It's just out in the raw. Okay, so do you worry about your pillow and where it touches?
Like if it falls on the floor or something?
Yeah.
Yes. But I don't do much about it. If it falls on the floor, I quickly like pick it up and go pat, 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 and then flip it over. And then I forget about it. Yeah. But I flip
do too. I kind of have a thing with pillows and the floor or other people, and this is 1000% from my mom. I can track this back without any trouble. She has always had a pillow thing when we were kids. I don't even think she really liked us using her bed pillows for ourselves in her bed. And definitely, don't put the pillow on the floor. That was always a thing. And I don't blame her. And I have it now because, I mean, your face goes there. I don't give a shit about couch pillows or anything else. But there have been times where Jason makes the bed and he just throws everything off the bed onto the ground. And then, because he likes to shake off the fitted sheet and sort of reposition it so everything's tight, which I understand. But I was like, there's dog hair on the floor. A lot of dog hair. And sometimes I think I'm mildly allergic to my pets. I don't know for sure, but definitely my eyes will get itchy sometimes. And maybe that's just normal. Maybe it's because hair's in your eye. But even when I go to like strip our bed and wash our sheets, I still put the innards of the pillow on a chair or on the bench or on something because and he can touch my pillows because that doesn't bother me. But I wouldn't offer my pillow to a stranger.
Nor would I take one from a stranger.
No, yeah.
No. I even get weird about like Airbnb or hotel pillows. I know they bleach them and stuff, but the whole bed sheet, bed comforter pillow situation, that's not actually mine. It's, again, I just have to get over it and not think about it or else it'll gross me out.
Yeah. When we started our Airbnb, we just decided we're making everything washable and bleachable. So even our comforter, it's really just a quilt. So it's lightweight and it's white. And we strip everything every time and bleach all of it. Because I was like, we are not having a top comforter thing that's not getting washed. It's so gross to me. And then we also have like hypoallergenic cases for the pillows that go under the pillow cases that I can still strip off and wash because I just don't want anybody to feel gross because I think it's gross.
Okay. I love that you do that. So when you go to hotels, what do you do with this top quilt or comforter at a hotel?
I just don't think about it. But I've noticed that a lot of them now don't really have quilts. The nicer ones, everything's white and it's just kind of a blanket and it's white. So I sort of feel safe because when there's dark things or the olden days where they had those polyester quilts on top, that was gross. And if they have the little polyester little decor at the bottom strip, the table runner for your bed, I throw that on the floor. And I don't use any of the decorative pillows on the couches. And I honestly don't even really want to touch the curtains that much.
I don't even want to sit on the couch sometimes. No, with hotels, even the nicer ones where it's all white, I still, after a long day of travel when I was younger, I'd used to just like hop on the bed and, just lay down for a second. Oh, no. First thing I do, pull everything back. Not on the floor, but just I pull everything back and I just lay right on the fitted sheet. Because I just don't trust anything anymore.
I do like to do a little checkaroo. At least if it's white, there's fewer bodily fluids that I would be able to not see.
Hey, turkeys, real quick, we want to tell you about our fun new free craft corner. Every quarter, in line with the equinox or solstice, we are going to send out new farts and crafts projects. You can find the link in the show notes. Just drop us your email. We promise not to spam you, but we'd love for you to join us. Now back to the show.
All right.
Is it me? I don't even know. Okay, so you were talking about putting your pillows on the floor. Are you particular of where you put the fly swat part?
Oh.
If you have a fly swatter, you've got like 3 flies in the house, and you're like, crap, you take it out, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you set it on the counter? Do you specifically set it on the floor? Are you very particular where you end up laying it until it's back in its position?
We actually just have a hook on our fridge in the kitchen, and that's where the flies live. So it just always goes back there.
Nice.
But
okay.
I would not want it upon my counter.
Well, obviously, if there's a fly on the counter, I'll just swap it on the counter, and then I'll clean that spot of the counter. But it's funny, shout out to my dad. I love you. It wasn't your fault, but I had about a couple flies in the house. As soon as we opened that sliding glass door, my dad had it because he was like on fly swatter duty, and he sat down and he put it directly on my couch. And my mother was like very quick to say, "Boy, get off the couch, get the flies out of the couch." And I chuckled because my mom. But I was like, oh yeah, I don't just lay it anywhere. It's usually in like the under cabinet where we keep it, or it's, resting against a cabinet with the thing on the floor because I don't want it anywhere else.
How often do you wash your bed sheets? I'm still in the bedroom.
Honestly, we should do it more. So I'm going to sound gross, but I forget. So I would say like 2-3 weeks, which is way too long, I've heard. You're supposed to do it like every week.
We definitely do it once a week, religiously. To be fair, I think you keep your house colder than we do.
I was going to say, we keep it freezing.
And I am a hot sleeper recently. So that might be some of it. I don't know. It's just become part of the weekend routine, though. I strip it off. I put it in. I think I'm traumatized from a couple of times when I went into gross people's homes and there was literally an oil ring around where they sleep at night. And it smelled like not body odor, just human.
Well, I don't want to know about the dust mites that are walking around saying hi to me in the middle of the night. So
I was going to say, you're also supposed to get new pillows, a whole new life to your pillow every so often, especially down pillows. I'm like, not happening. I think I'm sleeping on a down pillow from 1952. It's like a generational pillow.
I do need to up my washing.
I also don't wash my comforter every time, though. Or I have a down comforter with the mamble jamble that you put on top. That bitch gets washed once every couple of months, and it's stupid because I sleep on that and like coiled around that just as much as my other sheets. So I don't know who I'm kidding.
Why, Bluebell? I'm calling you out. Why don't you have some kind of protective seal? I don't even know how you've been able to sell without some kind of protective seal on your ice cream. Pint size, gallon size, whatever size you get, Bluebell has nothing. You could literally go into the grocery store and just pop off the top real quick and dump whatever you want, or syringe whatever you want. Or I swear, I don't want to say this, like put this out there for an idea, but people could totally be poisoned by Bluebell because anyone could just go in and do whatever and you wouldn't know because there's no protective seal.
Weird.
Why don't they do that? Everything's like, don't consume if the seal is broken. There is no seal to be broken. You're just raw dogging it on the freaking cover. I hate it.
I wonder, there's got to be more ice creams than just them that do that. But
Probably.
it is kind of weird. Now that you mention it, I do have vivid thoughts about pulling the little plastic piece off of some and not others.
You either have like Ben and Jerry's has the plastic around the outside, so you can't just pull the cover off, or you can pull the cover off, but there's a full seal that is, covering the whole cap of the ice cream.
Yeah, and I've had some that are plasticky containers, and you have to tear a thing around the outside of. Interesting. Okay. Still on a washing kick. How often do you wash your towels?
This one is more because they're wet more and I don't like even the slightest hint of, I don't even want to call it mildew because if it's even a fraction on the scale of potentially mildew, I'm like, ew. So those usually I do once a week. I just do them with our normal laundry.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, even after like 1 or 2 washes, I'm like, ugh.
I sometimes forget to do our dish towels, which is gross and embarrassing. But
That's the ones I almost do more.
Yeah, I don't really. Mostly we dry our hands on them or we lay one on the counter to let stuff dry upon. So I don't know, but I don't think of it. And sometimes I'll go to pull one off to put them in. I'm like, this is crusty. Like,
you're cutting something on a cutting board and you go to wash the cutting board. Do you wash the opposite side that's been on the counter?
if I'm washing meat, I'm pretty persnickety about my cutting boards, and I should just go get a new one because of all the crevices that there's probably germs in that I can't get to. A lot of times too, if I'm washing meat or cooking meat, I will wash my cutting board or rinse it off and then put it in the dishwasher so that it gets hot and sanitizes itself.
Sanitizes.
If I'm just slicing a bread loaf or chopping up an onion, or if there hasn't been meat involved, I don't really get all that wound up about it. But if especially raw chicken.
Do you wash your chicken? Well, I used to, and then I stopped, and then I was watching this YouTuber chef my life, and he was saying you're almost doing more harm than good by washing the chicken, because as you're washing it, all the water particles are probably like spewing more germs around your kitchen sink and everything. But I always thought it was kind of gross to not
washes it with vinegar.
Oh,
if we cook a whole chicken or we grill a chicken, I think he learned this in Jamaica. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
He uses apple cider vinegar. First of all, he puts the whole chicken raw in our sink, which is wild to me. Any food touching the inside of my sink grosses me out. He cleans the sink first, and then he shoves it in there, and then he vinegarizes it, which I actually like because I think you're kind of killing germs everywhere. And the thing that he does with a whole chicken that I have started doing that I recommend to everybody is he slices the veins or the arteries in the joints when you're cooking it whole, because then the blood leaks out as it's cooking. Because I don't know if you've had it before where you cook a whole chicken. It's definitely done. I obsessively check temperatures. And then when you go to cut into it or you break the wing off, then you get a squirt, and the squirt grosses me out.
Yeah.
Even though I know it's to temperature and it's fine. So what are your feelings about wearing shoes in the house?
I was going to ask you. Okay. In my mind, what I would like to do is be a shoeless house where people take their shoes off at the garage. Don't even walk in the house with your dirty MRSA shoes on. Thanks, Audra. She always used to say MRSA shoes, and now it's stuck in my head. But even if you don't work in a hospital, there's just shit everywhere. I would love to do that. However, we don't. I don't like it, but we walk around the house all the time with shoes on.
It makes me laugh so hard because I've always been a barefoot person, and I love having my shoes off in the house, especially. And then same thing, living with a person that works in a hospital. But when he pointed it out, I was thinking to myself, you're making a very good point. And then I noticed it when I came to visit you guys. I was thinking that I was the only person just flopping my bare feet around. And then I thought I was grossing everyone out with my bare feet because they all had their shoes on and their feet covered like proper people. And
no,
anyway, I guess it's not the outside that grosses me out. It's the stores, going in and out of stores or restaurants and bathrooms and gas stations. And
oh God, do you wash per se an avocado or a watermelon? Because obviously you're not eating the skin. Well, I'll stop there. Do you wash the outside of those kind of fruits? She's shaking her head no.
Okay. My next one was going to be, do you rinse your vegetables? And I don't engage in any type of washing or rinsing behavior.
Even like broccoli, Kaylee?
Okay, so the only exception to this is if there's a chance it might be sandy.
Okay.
Because I don't like the sand in my
Florida
teeth.
Problems.
The second that there's a grit in something, it yucks the whole meal. So cabbage and lettuce. Some of those can be really bad because they're in the dirt in the ground. And I get stuff a lot from this. It's not a farmer's market, but it's sort of open vegetable market thing. I don't know. It's called Bailey's.
Carrots?
Well, I peel them.
Yeah. Okay.
But again, if they are sandy or evidence of visible dirt, like mushrooms,
yeah,
I'll usually rinse them off. But I don't give a fuck about rinsing my vegetables. And I know that you're going to say that I'm cutting through the skin and the knife is dragging all of it through. And I recognize that, but I just don't care. We did, caveat, we went through a phase for like 3 weeks at the start of the virus that we were rinsing everything because we just didn't know. And Jason was working in the hospital and watching people die. So we were on high alert. But even then, I'll be honest with you, if he wasn't home and he didn't know about it, I didn't really do it. Because I really hate it. Everything's wet, and then you have to put it in the fridge wet or rinse it off.
You gotta lay it out and dry every single shard of lettuce. Oh, it's so stupid. No. Okay, here's my things. If it's a pre-washed bag or bin, plastic thing of lettuce, spinach, fuck it, whatever. I'm not gonna rewash it. It says washed already. You probably should, but I don't. Avocados, melons, anything like that. I just realized someone just said, if you cut through it, you're taking the outside shit and digging it through into the inside. I am aware of that now, but I still don't do it because it's a pain in the fucking ass. Sorry. Have you ever tried washing a watermelon before you cut a watermelon? It's such a pain in the butt. I could probably do it with my avocados, but I don't. What I do wash for sure is strawberries, blueberries, like anything that I can just pop right in my mouth. Do you do any of those? No. Oh my God. That's okay. That's okay. I've done it once and it was just too much work. When you let it soak in baking soda or something else. And like, that's a lot. That's a lot. I see why people do it and no hate. I just don't want to, but I rinse everything off very well that does not have a skin. And that's about it. But even like cilantro, that's what I was thinking. My mom, she's like, do you wash your cilantro? And I was like, no, I don't. And then I started looking at it and I'm like, oh, there's stuff. Like it almost looked like dirty. Like, oh my God, now I gotta wash my cilantro.
That I end up washing of the sand. Now, I do not wash a damn thing before it goes in my refrigerator. It's only getting rinsed before I use it because I am not drying shit off. This also kind of leads me into my next one of do you wash your eggs, which I know is not relevant to you, but I have backyard chickens.
No.
And I will never. And if for non-Americans, it's weird that we buy eggs in the grocery store in a refrigerated section anyway, and that's because they were washed by the person that gathered them, more than likely, and then it takes them about a month to get to you in the store, and then at that point they need to be refrigerated. But fresh eggs don't need to be, and I realized this when I lived in Colombia because we went to the grocery store and they were all just in the air. And ours now our chickens are dicks anyway, but if you wash them, there's a protective membrane, so if the second they get wet, then they have to go in the refrigerator because they'll spoil. If you don't wash them, you can leave them out, and I would much rather leave them out. And they can be out for 3 to 4 weeks, I believe, and then you need to put them in the fridge, and then they're good for another 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, so that's why I'm like, well, why do they wash them in the first place? It's because it's the transportation time, essentially.
No, I think they're washing them in the first place because I think most of our chickens are laying eggs in situations where they can't move from where they're laying, so they're shitting on their eggs.
Yep, makes sense, which is why if you can and you have the money, the 2 things to look for is organic, but more importantly, pasture-raised. Isn't that crazy? I learned that pasture-raised is actually more important than organic in egg things because you can have a full container of chickens, and as long as you're feeding them organic grain, then they can call it organic, but you really want them to be out living their best life. plopping
And
their
I
eggs
think
out.
there's things too. The definition of free range is not what you think it is.
Oh yeah, I said pasture raised, whatever it is. Yeah, there's so
But
much.
free
I hate it
range
all.
can just be a
I
little
know.
square.
I think
Anyway, chickens are shitbags. I don't feel bad for them. They suck. I have them. They're dicks. They don't have a brain. They just follow me around because they know that I give them food. I have no attachment to them. And I'm sorry to people who love their backyard chickens, but I don't give a fuck about mine. That being said, I still don't like the idea of them being crammed up in a little crate. But ours will sometimes be dirty. Anyway, I just brush it, wipe it, try to poof it off. And
very curious on this one. Do you buy like boxes of stock or like chicken broth or beef broth or whatever? Have you bought those in the past? Okay, all right,
I can't wait to see what you're going to ruin.
Well, on the box it says you're good through a year from now. We don't expire for a year. But I didn't realize once you open it, you're supposed to use it within like 7 days. Oh, I've used like 3-month-old broth. And I love my hair today. Don't judge me. And I will say my mother has also done the same. Cause sometimes no, not sometimes. She makes dinners when she comes over and watches our child on Wednesdays, which is so amazing. And she'll say, "Oh, I used the chicken broth in the fridge." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's been open for forever, but hopefully we don't get sick tonight."
I mean, you're cooking it, so I wouldn't worry, and I'm sure we've gone over the time frame, but I'm kind of a persnickety Penelope when it comes to food stuff, and that's one I definitely track.
There's been a couple things like that. The milk I buy, it's non-dairy, first of all. But it's like used within 7 days. I'm like, it's been so much longer than just 7 days.
Milk and creamers and things I don't pay attention because they get bad. Obviously bad when they're bad.
But sometimes I'm like, is this borderline? And I just can't tell. Ugh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess. That's funny. Some of my food date stuff is from Starbucks. Or like lunch meat. Bruh, that's a 5-day max open in my life.
The thing that I forgot is the most outrageous, egregious act in my household was the word I was trying to find, is the slices of cheese, not Kraft singles, because that's not actual cheese. I'm talking about the actual cheese that you get. Apparently when that's open, it's 7 days sharp. And I mean, unless there's mold on it, I'm using those bitches. And it's been long time over. And now I know.
Yeah. Question, do you still regularly use hand sanitizer?
I've never used hand sanitizer, especially when we had the thing happen to all of us. It was so pungent every fudging place I went, and I'm very sensitive to that smell. Unless you get a really good one that smells good, I absolutely refuse to do that because it's gross and it's bad for your skin if you use it too much. Sorry. I just wash my hands.
So this could be more of a flavor of being a job on the road and going in people's houses, but I love Dr. Bronner's hand sanitizer spray. It's not the gooey gel because I don't want to rub cum between my fingers, and it is alcohol. It's basically straight alcohol, whatever the percentage is that it's supposed to be, so it dries really fast. And then there's just a beep of essential oil in it for smell. So I get the mint or the lavender. So it's
amazing.
not a potent perfumey, but it's something. And consequently, if something just smells poopish in my car, or if I spill something, I can spray it off and wipe it down. But Jason kind of got me on it with the gas station. When I pump gas, because there's a lot of scabby people that probably like handle their wiener and don't wash their hands and then pump gas. But then also when I go to the bathroom at a gas station, I don't feel that washing my hands washes my hands.
Oh, interesting.
Because so many of them are single doors that you have to lock.
Yeah.
So you go in and you lock it with someone's poopy butthole hand. And even if they washed their hands after they peed and pooped, which is already a stretch with the general public.
You still have the pre-poopy hands.
Yeah. You still have to touch that to exit. Now, if you're just pushing it out, then I don't think about it. But even sometimes the sinks are gross in some gas stations. So even just turning the sink on and off, and even if I mash it down with my elbow, then I have a contaminated elbow. I don't know. So that, and then also working in healthcare and being in people's homes and shaking their hands. I'm not going to ask them if I can go use their bathroom and wash my hands after I leave, but I know I'm going to get in my car and touch my phone and touch my car. And I don't, again, trust patients, especially in their home, especially when they're old and sick, to be washing their hands every time they cough or touch their face or scratch their butt cheek. So I also sanitize then.
Okay, that's 1000% valid. I work in a house setting, so I have a bathroom very close to me. I will always wash my hands before I eat. Always.
Yeah.
And when it's like a gas station, like say I have to go get gas on my way home, I am aware. And as soon as I'll touch whatever I need to touch until my hands are washed. And once that happens, I'll do whatever I need to with my foot, with my arms, with my whatever it is, like grab a lot of towels and use the towels to unlock the door. Whatever it is, I'll do that. And then I just know, don't touch your face or put your finger in your mouth or eat food until you go home and like actually wash your hands. But you bring up a good point with I'm still touching my phone. I'm still touching my steering wheel.
The phone thing is gross because I'm mashing the buttons and then I'm smashing it up on my face. And that's why I also like the spray sanitizer, because I can spray my hands and keep them a little wet, and then I'll spray and like wipe down my phone.
I get that.
Jason was always alcohol wiping his phone when he was at the hospital. And
I can get behind that.
Anyway, I don't wash, dry, and sanitize, and the stuff, it really bothers my skin, most of them. So I'm happy to have found something that works for me that's not overly smelly or sticky, but I do have scenarios, and the gas stations are one of them. And again, normal people aren't going into weirdo random gas stations at all times of the day, multiple times a day at the rate that I pee when I'm on the road. But
yeah, I can get behind that with your occupation. Okay, my last one is two questions in one. It depends on the length of time you keep things in the fridge. How long are leftovers good for? Cooked leftovers. And then to follow up, if you thaw meats in the fridge, at what point, you probably just make it right away the same day because you are like that, and I love that. But me, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to make the meat that I just thawed. So how long can you wait with thawed meat in the fridge before you have to cook it or throw it away?
I would go a couple days and not worry about it. It's coming to the grocery store frozen, and they're thawing it for you to buy.
Yeah, but what if it's frozen all the way through and it's in your freezer, and then you take it out to thaw for the first time?
That's what I mean. I don't care about that for a couple days. To me, then it's just, once it's in my fridge and it's thawed, then I just pretend that I got it from the store. I don't know if that's right or not, but I'm not overly freaked out about using it immediately.
Okay.
Leftovers, 2 days max in the fridge. Leftovers gross me out. Now, I freeze leftovers all the time. And again, for me, freezing things resets the clock. So we just made a huge brisket.
Oh.
So we're going to have leftovers tonight. And then I already froze the other half. So I'll pull that out a different day and then eat that. And that won't bother me. But I would not sit and eat on a brisket for numerous days across time.
What if it's not meat?
I don't care. Leftovers are gross. I hate honestly, I don't like leftovers when we don't really eat them. And it's why I freeze so much stuff, because it doesn't gross me out to pull it and thaw it after it's been frozen. But I don't like eating the same thing 2 days in a row.
Interesting. Well, we have a different way of life on this one, because my rule of thumb is a week.
I think that's fine.
For everything.
It just grosses me out.
Yeah.
I'll prep Jason out food, like cook a chicken and cook rice and meal prep him. And for some reason that doesn't bother him. And I don't find that to be appalling. Prepped meals for myself like that before and not been bothered. But I don't know what it is about dinner leftovers. They gross me out.
If it's not meal prep leftovers and it's just normal leftovers, it's grosser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just bleh. I don't know. And It's why I think it's why I like to freeze things, because I'll make a giant chicken pot pie and cut it in half. We'll eat half. I'll freeze the other half. And then when I go to pull it out, I put it back in the oven, kind of mash it around and rebake it. And so it comes out as if it's new. Nothing is soggy.
Yep. I hear you. I'm on that train. I just don't. I go a little bit longer. It's like day 6, we're good. And as soon as we've hit a week, like if I make something on Thursday and we're on Wednesday of the next week, it's like, okay, today's the day. Or tomorrow morning when you wake up, it's going in the garbage. You know, it's right there.
I probably do more of a 5-day. I guess there's some things. There have been things in the winter, soups and stuff like that, where microwaving it or reheating it doesn't gross me out in the same way. Like a big thing of beans or something, I'll eat on stuff like that for a little longer, but I think it's because they're already smushy. So it doesn't, the texture, I don't feel like I have to do anything to reanimate it other than just microwave the shit out of it so the germs are dead. What do you use for washing yourself in the shower?
A loofah.
You know, is like the natural ones? Or those fluffy duffies?
The fluffy ball plasticky looking ones.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. That's what Jason uses. Do you change yours out a lot?
I forget.
Because I've heard
I probably
those are
need
gross.
to. I probably need to. Mine's white though, and I wash it out really, really well before I hang it back up. So in my head, I'm like, it's fine. It doesn't smell, but I still should probably change it out.
Sometimes I don't understand because it's being washed every day when you're washing yourself. So I don't really get how it could be gross. But then I also feel like it could be.
I feel like it just sits in there.
Last, would you ever share any of the following? Toothbrush, razor, makeup brushes, mascara, earrings?
Toothbrush, absolutely not. Was the second one razor?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I know Kenny has used it once, and that's fine. And it was only because of his emergency. But no. What's the next one?
Mascara,
it has happened. My girlfriend has needed it, and I'm like, okay, well, you don't have pink eye, I'm fine with it, whatever. Earrings, I'd really rather not. Really would rather not. I would never put it someone else's. Oh, I actually put your earrings in the other day. I didn't even think about it.
This is what made me think of it.
Well, I trust you. They didn't look cranky.
This is exactly what it is. A lot of my sharing. Yes, 1,000%. A lot of my sharing has to do with the person, similar to like a church potluck. No fucking thank you. But I will eat food for my in-laws all day, every day, and my own family because I know that they're clean people. But if I don't know the person that made the item in a common food sharing situation, hell no. Hell no. And then if the person even seems remotely gross to me, not happening. So earrings, I don't care if I know the person. Like you borrowing my earrings didn't bother me even in the slightest. If I thought that you were messy or dirty or you grossed me out, I would be like, you can just have them. Makeup brushes, I don't care about because I don't even wash my own and it's disgusting. But I also don't really use them. Again, same thing with mascara. Razor doesn't bother me if it's Jason. I would let you shave your legs with my razor. It wouldn't gross me out. I would just rinse it off a little bit because again, I know you're not cutting your body open and sharing infectious diseases. The toothbrush thing is disgusting, but I think that Jason has used mine or I've used his in the past when we forgot one on a trip and it was the end of the night and it was dire. And I'm pretty sure I brought this up to him and he denies it, but I have a vivid memory of it happening. But then also I'm like, we're married and the fluids that we've exchanged and the things that we've done far less gross than a toothbrush. I still threw it away and it started fresh when we got home because it didn't seem like something I needed to hold on to forever and ever. But I just was thinking, don't look at me, don't touch it, don't talk to me about it. And we'll just move on.
Okay, one last question. What about deodorant? And not just like you and me, but like someone else's deodorant that they've already used.
No, unless, again, same rules apply to earrings and mascara.
Yeah, if it's dire situation, it's like one of those things where you wipe off the surface and then you use it and then you like re-wipe it off and then you are like, okay, well, at least I won't smell, but now I'm going to shower tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know why armpits are weird.
Do we have time for me to just real quick read a listener feedback?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go fast. So our best friend, Wendell Geek, responded to our our psychopath episode on the Podle. Check it out Saturdays exclusively on YouTube. Where we talked about things that might make you a psychopath. So he said he scored a 10 out of 20 of the list that we made. But let me just real quick. So we were just, obviously we were joking. But one thing we said is if you like your steak, Kayla said if you like your steak really rare. I said if you like your steak well done. He said rare steak is the best steak. And there's something even rarer than rare called blue rare. Have you heard of that?
No.
Yeah. My mom and my brother are rare steak people, so I actually have, but it's literally a cold pink middle, not even warm. I knew that would make you want to kill yourself. Oops.
It's just ever since I got pregnant, that's when it's really grossed me out.
Yeah, that's when I wrote back. That's what I told him. You've had more of a nasty feeling about it recently. He said he does wear socks to bed, and he said it's funny because he used to sleep hot and his wife was always the one that was cold, and now she's going through menopause, so it's flipped. So now he's always cold and she's always hot, and so he's wearing socks to bed trying to stay warm, which made me laugh. Oh, when we said that you might be a psychopath if you wake up without the need of an alarm, especially if you can wake up for work. And then he said report back when you're in your 50s. There's no sleeping in anymore. I get up at the same time at every single day, weekends, holidays, whatever. And I didn't used to be that way.
Wow.
He left us such a long, thorough thing. I wrote back to him more in depth, but I'm not going to read every single one. But his responses are always so thorough and they always crack me up. So he said his brother doesn't have an internal monologue. I'm going to just read this verbatim. He put, and just FYI, it is an internal monologue. If you have two people talking in there, you definitely have some psychological issues. Back to my brother. I've talked to him about this, and it's like we're speaking two different languages. I can't understand how he doesn't have an internal monologue, and he can't understand how I do. The conversation usually goes like this. Me, so how do you read a book? Him, what do you mean, how do I read a book? I read a book by reading a book. Me, but you don't say the words in your head while you're reading? Him, what does say the words in your head mean? Me, it's like reading aloud, but it's in your head. Him, you've said that many times before, but I have no idea what that means. Do unemployed people have internal jobs where it's just like going to a job except you don't? Why would you do that?
Oh, that's great. That's a great response.
I think I've tried to, in my head, speed read, where I try to read without reading to myself, and I don't comprehend. Last but not least, he said, I listen to you guys at 2x speed, and I only do that because I can't get it at 2.5 speed on YouTube. To be honest, I wish I could put the rest of the world on 2x or 2.5 speed. People talk so unbelievably slowly. It takes forever to get to the point. Now, I will say that some people do talk a lot faster than others. And in this podcast, Kayla talks faster than Kaylee. So I might not be able to understand Kayla at 2.5, when I'm pretty sure I could understand Kaylee.
Whoa.
Unless I've got your names backwards. I think Kaylee is the social worker and Kayla has a child.
Dying. I'm laughing so much in my head right now. Okay, very interesting. So your brain just works faster than mine because there's no way in hell I could understand anyone at 2. Okay, at 2, maybe, but it would be like really straining my brain. That's
Isn't
so
that funny? Jason probably would agree with him that he wishes he could listen to everything at 2.5. And I've read that there's something about ADHD with that, where they just want it, or once they comprehend it, they want you to stop talking. And it really helped me to find that out, because I thought he was being so rude, because I would finish a sentence, or I'd start to say something. He goes, oh yeah, I got it. I'm like, would it fucking kill you to let me say the last 2 words of this sentence? And he's like, yeah, but you don't have to, because I get it. I think he thinks he's saving me time. So I think he's trying to put me on 2x, or just cut the conversation in half. And then when I learned that it's sort of a compulsive thing that some people do in their head, and that he thought he was helping me by saving my breath, I quit getting so offended. But anyway.
Well, that is so funny. Thank you for the comment. I wonder if you can understand what I'm saying. It's been about a week over how to have that conversation. Have a great day, Kaylee. Have a great day. Let me know if you've understood that.
Slow. I got it. Anyway,
great.
That was great. We love the feedback. Please let us know, people of the world and our friend, if you have any of these quirks, or if there's any that we're forgetting. And sorry if we ruined your life about germs.
Until next time.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.